Hey, so number 46 on the Variety's top something or other Trek episodes is Crossover from Deep Space Nine. My reaction is okay. I wouldn't put it on anybody's top 50 list. It didn't land. It was a. Here, I'm trying not to be cranky, but I'm going to be cranky. Um, I've never watched this a lot. I watched it the first couple times back when it first aired, and it didn't land because the humans weren't villains; they were the victims, and I think that's why it didn't land for folks. Hmm. Maybe it's just me. And that's why every other season they turned it into kind of the campy stuff. I mean, we had a little camp on this one, but not compared to the other episodes where it just kind of became a parody of itself. And I think because this episode went the wrong way, everything else kind of crashed. So that's how I come down on Crossover. It's really forgettable. Sorry to be cranky about it. Other people may disagree, and I'm fine with the camp stuff as long as because that's what it became, and that was fine. But this first episode, I don't see why it belongs on anybody's top whatever list. It's not. Plenty better Deep Space Nines than this. I don't want to see Odo get shot and then Odo can't come back anymore. It didn't work. Um, okay, let us continue. Okay, Strange New World season one. But see, here's the thing about Strange New World stuff. When you don't put the title in your episode any longer, when we only have it when we select the episode, I can't remember the names of episodes because it's not in it now. And maybe that's just an excuse. They need to be back in the title. That's what I'm talking about. Um, I still don't know how to come down on Strange New Worlds because a lot of it is not working for me. It's just like a celebration of people who remember a little bit about Trek. Discovery has gone in a much better direction by catapulting itself into the future, but the prequel stuff that should be done by now. And again, I mentioned this too. I talk to myself all the time about separating the continuity geek in me, understanding this continuous narrative versus what's happening now. If people would just set this stuff in a different quantum reality or time stream, you can do what you want. Just do that. I mean, say what you will about how horrible all the Kelvin Trek is. At least we can set it aside someplace else and look at it just for what it is, a forgettable popcorn parody of Star Trek. I mean, even the last one, the Justin Lin one, was okay for what it was, but it's not something you watch again. But it's still not the worst of the Trek movies. And now I'm going to go on a digression on the Trek movies, so I should just stop myself there. So this episode was what? Because I don't know the name, it was a what I got to read it. I don't want to read and talk at the same time. It's not getting to the point. The Enterprise crew find themselves on. Okay, so stop with this. Is what I'm talking about with Strange New Worlds. What is no? And I know in the season we just had, or whichever one I watched, they throw in a line to say, "Well, the Gorn are everywhere. It's not like we haven't heard about them." I'm like, yeah, whatever. You're gonna just shoehorn that in. I like the Gorn. Just not in one-off episode with somebody in a lizard suit. That's it. We don't need to turn them into xenomorphs. That's almost hack in its execution, and it just takes you right out of any narrative. But maybe I'm an old cranky guy, and I'm fine with that too. They know virtually nothing. They're forced to. What happens in this episode? Including, see, even Variety doesn't know what's going on in this episode, which they know virtually nothing. They are forced to use every resource to outwit. Even this gives. I have no idea what this episode is. So why is it in anybody's list? They can't even give you a photo that says, "Oh yeah, that." Oh, wait a minute. This is cool. These remembrance badges they were wearing at one episode. It was like the Memorial Day or Poppy Seed version for Trek. So I remember that. Hey, I like the cast of the show. For the most part, I guess I enjoy watching it. I don't find it painful. I mean, it's okay, but I hope it is not totally forgettable. I mean, I get geeked out over Discovery sometimes, but this I'm still having a conversation with myself about this show. All right, so okay, number 44 is Counterpoint. I don't remember this one either. This is Voyager. Okay, the main story is a tense World War II allegory in her crew. Oh, okay, yeah. This was good. I remember this one. It was good. They were trying to get through somebody's space, but the people in the space didn't like telepaths, so they had to hide the telepaths in the transporter all the time. And I don't remember how it ended. I should probably watch Counterpoint again. And Counterpoint comes because I think whoever takes over the ship likes listening to classical music. Um, yeah, Janeway finding safe harbor for threats. She can use a special. A great subtle performance captures both Janeway's steely wits. Okay, well, what happened at the end of the episode? Well, obviously, I think the refugees survived. But yeah, that's good. That sure, that belongs on the list. Let's do one more. Call it a day on this one. Very good. Now, because this is in my long-term memory. I think so much of my cognitive development happened because of Next Gen. So obviously, my bias is there as someone who's 48 years old. So yeah, Drumhead really opened up things. Really opened up the world to me about how things can go wrong. And a lot of what's happened in the Drumhead has totally proved to be a reality in many particular ways. And yes, right here. Um, I mean, I want to talk more about the Drumhead. I do. It's an awesome episode. It's worth watching again and again. Um, and I think it's not Gene Simmons does a fine performance as somebody who's lost perspective, and having Patrick Stewart say his lines, and that's awesome. But it's also Worf in this episode. Worf gets into it. Worf's all about the McCarthyite stuff. He's ready just to throw people in jail and let them go. And this and Matter of Perspective, give you an idea of where other folks are. You can get caught up pretty easily in someone else's nonsense. Let's just kind of leave it at that. And the Deep Space Nine one, which I'm sure is on this list. Can't remember what it's called now, where Cisco goes back to Earth and everybody's freaked out. What's it called? Like, I don't think it's called Paradise Lost. I don't know. Well, I'm sure that'll be on the list. Look forward to that. That's all. It's the morning in my world. I'm gonna not be so cranky, but there we go.